Thanks, Rudy. Well, hello there. Here we are in episode 4, where I talk to filmmaker, podcaster, all-around Hollywood guy, Matt Hayes. I worked with Matt on a short film called Cognitive, based on his life growing up in the South as a gay man. He also is the host of the Fagnostic podcast, which is uncomfortable for me to say. I don't like that word, but that's kind of his point, I suppose. We'll get into that in the episode. Today we talk about a lot of serious stuff. This was a very deep conversation, I think. We talk about creative burnout, trying to figure out what matters to us in our work, sustaining our soul as an artist, the sometimes toxic pursuit of success, right down to the nature of God and faith and all of it. There's lots of cursing, so, just be ready for that. Let's talk to Matt. Okay, so today I am sitting in a room with my wife and a man named Matt Hayes.
That's me.
Who is responsible for 100% of my IMDb credits. All 2 of them.
Wait, I gave you 2 credits?
Yeah. There's Cognitive, and then there's the thing that you got. I wrote some music for something.
Oh, the Q.
The Q.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That went nowhere.
Okay, well, it's on my IMDb. It's good. It's fine.
That's all that matters.
So Matt
Wait till you get to the place in life where every single Sunday at 9 p.m. you're refreshing your IMDb to see what your star meter is. And then you just start drinking more because you're like, oh, cool, I'm still in the 6 digits.
I do that sometimes with Instagram when I'm regularly posting, but so that's like a much sadder version of that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I might edit that out. I don't know. So Matt is the host of the Fagnostic podcast.
And yes, straight people can say that word now.
See,
context.
This is exactly what I wanted to ask you and talk to you about because,
Well, straight people have the hardest time with that title, honestly.
Yeah.
Because everybody's ears perk up when they hear it for obvious reasons. But straight people are the ones who are like, the Gnostic podcast. Yeah. And what you can actually say it. It's not, I mean, it's intent, it's context. Like, it's the name of the podcast.
Exactly.
But and also, I took that word back from you, so it doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, you weaponized it against me, and I took it back. I literally took the gun out of your hands.
So, I guess, it's kind of like white people are like the N word for white people.
Let's not get started on white people.
What the N word for white people is calling them racist, right? Yeah. That's what really cuts deep, Probably gonna take
one of my
that
favorite
out too.
lines is no, don't, because this is a good. Del Shores. Yeah. He has a line that he says that I think he heard somebody say one time, and he says, "I'm not racist. I'm Southern." It makes me laugh so bad.
Can you break that down a little bit for me?
Because Southerners,
or for our listeners, I should say.
I mean, I think it's just Southerners excusing their own cultural. It's just excusing their behavior. If you can't tell what that gurgling sound was just now, it's. That's the most beautiful corkscrew I've ever seen in my life.
It's
crystal.
It's a little wine plug thing.
I didn't know you were spiritual.
What would that be? What would that mean? Does that give me?
Well, it's quartz, and so it embodies clarity, decision making.
Decision making.
Mm-hmm.
That's ironic,
isn't it?
So. So you chose it because it's obviously...
I chose it because I wanted something that made your ears perk up, obviously. Mm-hmm. I wanted something that captured the idea of faith and sexuality.
Okay.
And so I didn't mull on much, honestly. Like, that word just... I've thought about that word as funny before, just the combination of those two words. And I thought, I wonder if this would even get approved on the RSS feeds, like on the sites you use to host your podcast.
That was going to be my next question. Did you get any restrictions?
Even until I launched, I didn't know if it was going to get approved.
Yeah.
But apparently on podcasts, you can say anything. So it's never gotten flagged. It's never... I mean, I've never had any reportings of it, because I think the people who... I mean, maybe it's just the people that follow me, but like people instantly know what it's about. And that's what you need in a podcast title, I think, too.
Yeah.
Instant awareness of what the subject matter is going to be. And so in that, this is going to involve something about faith and sexuality.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's precisely the thesis of your whole podcast.
And it's fun.
Yeah, and other than that...
And it also makes for good merch.
Well, you've got... What is it? Let me pull it up, the actual graphic.
So it's... I used the font that most closely resembles like the Bible font, like Times New Roman.
Right.
And then for the A, I have an emoji of the prayer hands.
Which, for those of us who, until, many, many years later, thought it was the high five emoji, found out later it's a prayer emoji. Or is it the other way around?
Oh, you're talking about this one.
No. This one. The one with the two hands coming together?
Oh, that's not a high five emoji.
I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
It was. We've heard
that's interesting.
I don't know if that's... but here's the thing. It's like people use that in the context of like prayer or whatever.
And it looks like the letter A. So in this context, that it's
don't worry.
prayer.
Don't worry. Your merchandise is safe. I hope you didn't print too many T-shirts.
Oh no, I don't know. I use teespring.com.
Hey,
you don't have to. It's all about just they make it to order.
Is this a famous seamless ad transition?
Yes. No, it's just a site where you can make stuff to sell, but you don't have to put the money up front.
Right.
So I have stickers. I have totes.
Listen, we'll get to the plugs.
Totes you can take to Trader Joe's.
Selfish man.
Speaking of plugs.
No, but okay, so then the rest of it, and then you have obviously lowercase t is across, and then you have the world, right?
Uh-huh.
As the O. So that's cool. Yeah, very recognizable. Whatever. Certain thoughts will peter out, and I'll just edit around them. It's fine. So, advice time for me. I'm probably not going to use the F word in my podcast title, but what do you think? So the thesis that I'm sort of gathering, it's hard to tell right now because I'm sort of deciding on what the title of this will be once I've edited a few of these episodes. But the basic idea is that I'm talking to people in creative fields, in whether they're musicians or game developers or artists or filmmakers or podcasters or whatever. And it's just me just talking to... Basically, I know a lot of people doing these types of things, and I know a lot of people that I can just have really good conversations with.
Is it going to be, like creatives who are based in music?
Not exclusively.
Because the first thing that came to mind was like Spicer keeps score.
Okay, yeah. Here's the thing: is like I'm kind of shying away from using my own name in the title. Now, maybe that
because you want to remain anonymous.
No, not at all. I want people to the opposite of that. I want people to get to know me through this podcast.
I think our name is our most important real estate. So I think your name's got to at least be in the image.
Sure. I mean, but at the very least with Michael Spicer or whatever. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing in researching podcasts. There's not a very famous, well, I could call it very famous, way more famous than I am, British Michael Spicer comedian.
Oh.
He does these videos of it's like from the other room, and he usually does some, politicians and stuff where they're at their podium and he's giving them notes through a headset or whatever, and it's really very funny, cleverly done. But he has a podcast.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So it's so Michael Spicer's in it. So and I don't know. We can come back to that, but I'm just trying to. That's at this point, and by the time people actually hear this, the name will have been solidified. But I'm just trying to hash that out, I guess.
I wonder if there's a podcast called Creatively Speaking.
Yeah, maybe that seems like it would have been already, but maybe not. You never know.
Podcast names are like the new AIM names. Remember, like screen names? Like,
yeah.
God damn, like Hayes MJ was taken.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your first screen name?
Well, I got spicer.michael@gmail.com.
No, your first like AOL screen name.
No, I didn't really have AOL.
Is that not allowed in Canada?
I'm just younger than you.
Oh, because it's AOL. No, because how can you have America Online in Canada?
COL?
Oh my God, I never thought.
No, shut up. Of course we have AOL. Fuck you.
How tribalist of me. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed of myself right now to think like AOL ruled the world of internet across the pond.
No, it did. What the fuck? Oh,
Don't
no,
you hate Americans?
tribalist. No, I married
I love
one,
that we're talking
so.
about tribalism also on Indigenous Peoples Day because
Oh, yes.
yeah.
And also Canadian Thanksgiving. Today's the Canadian
Yeah, but that
Thanksgiving.
doesn't count.
Well, thanks a lot. That's
Oh my God, how tribalist of me
that's
again!
tribalist right there. Yeah. Come on now.
I'm kidding. I really don't mean that. I actually much prefer Canadians. I mean, not really. I just want to be one because it seems like the safe place to be right now with all that's going on in America. You know, this shit show that we're living in right now.
I mean, I feel like I'm living under the illusion that this shit show has passed.
It
but
hasn't.
It's not.
No, we're just in the eye right now. Oh, just wait till the midterms. We are fucked.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. No, let's shy away from politics a little bit, just a little bit, because I would like to.
You're right. Yeah.
It's just better for us,
Yeah.
you know. At this point, because the thesis of this episode maybe is burnout, and
as it relates to creativity,
as it relates to, well, and I mean,
and pursuits, like good career pursuits.
So tell me what you told me at dinner, which was talking about your, like, how
I'm just fucking tired. Fucking tired.
Well, you're tired, but I'm saying, so like the creative, like you were talking about, you know, the Almighty and being like the creator who created creators, right. And then by creating as creators, we are becoming whatever or something like that. Something along those lines.
You look at the history of the world, like however you, depending on your belief system, however far that reaches back, and what's the one thing that lasts? Art.
Yeah.
Creation. Whether it's the Holy Scriptures, whether it's paintings in caves. That's all that we have.
Or stack of rocks.
Or social media, or stacks of rocks, or TV shows. Like, that's all that stays.
Yeah.
And so, clearly, there's something divine about what is created. And I, you know, in my own, I mean...
Why is it divine?
Because it's the only thing that lasts.
Why does that make it divine, though?
Because...
It sounds like it's durable. To me,
yeah.
To be a dry, like,
so when
you know,
I say divine,
agnostic guy about
when
it.
I say divine, I mean, I speak to that urge within us.
Yeah.
That unquantifiable, uncalculatable feeling inside of us that makes us get out of bed to think, okay, I have to talk about this. I have to write this. I have to paint this. I don't mean to say that I believe that art is God inspired, because I don't know if I believe in God. That's what my whole podcast is about, is having conversations with people who are having that same internal dialogue.
Yeah.
Mostly from a place of coming out of traumatizing religious experiences. But I do feel something in terms of energy or connection. What I'm finding is that if there is a God, it is in the space between us. It's not that you represent the divine,
right,
that Meredith does, but it's in this connection. And it actually reminds me of a Christian scripture that speaks about God saying, where two or more are gathered, there I am also. And I wonder, I mean, because clearly the Bible is going to be filled with misinterpretations and mistranslations.
Right.
But I wonder if that was the idea. If that was somebody commenting on the divine's presence in their life, is, oh, I actually feel it here between us. It's in this connection we're having.
Right.
This dialogue you and I are having right now, there's something divine about it, because it's
like, why do I feel the need to talk to you about it? Like, why do I feel the need to listen to your podcast? Why do I feel the need to actually? Well,
you're my friend, and
podcast?
so you're required.
Yeah, it's mostly out of pity. I'm like, this guy.
That's actually a joke. There's a thick line for me between fans and friends. First of all, second of all, that's one of the many lessons I've learned in Hollywood is that line has to be present.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But, I just had another thought.
Well, go into that a little bit. It's okay. We're going to tangent a little bit.
Well, because I think it puts pressure on your friends to engage with what you're creating, and to me, that's not who I'm trying to reach. And my attempt as an artist is to progress the world.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
And I build a circle of a social network with people that are of like mind.
Yeah.
So I don't need to preach to them. And not that I'm preaching, but I mean, but who I want to speak to are the people that are still suffering from religious trauma, suffering from being told that they're not worthy of love, whether it be from a divine perspective or a social perspective or a legal perspective.
How do you... Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just... So that's what I mean in that, like, if I make something, I don't expect you to show up to my premiere or to watch my episode on TV. Like, my friends are people my friends are the people that I can go to and be like, I'm sad because I'm not getting enough auditions. I'm sad because of this. I just feel like when people dote on me on social media, it doesn't mean as much. But when a friend is like, I believe in you, that, I mean, not to say that I'm not appreciative of like when people, dote, because like I have an ego, but I just think that there has to be a different delineation between fan and friend. Has to be.
That's, I mean, yeah. How do you choose? I was just going to say, how do you choose your podcast guests? Is that...
Well, I was really lucky because during COVID, and COVID actually started a lot of my spiral. I mean, for everybody it did, right? But during COVID, the Stonewall Democrats asked me to, because of their awareness of Cognitive, which is the short film that you composed the music for.
Thank you.
It was my first like legit project, and to this date, it's probably the thing that I'm most proud of. And during COVID, Stonewall Democrats asked me to during Pride Month, Stonewall Democrats took over one of the talk radio stations in Los Angeles, on air, for a weekend, and they asked me to host a roundtable of faith leaders, and so I had some contacts already just from being in some religious circles, and then they provided me with a couple others. And it ended up being such a great and fruitful conversation just about the honesty behind faith, because faith is such a fucking facade. And it's also a scapegoat for most people of faith, which is interesting because to me, faith is a lifelong struggle. It's not a perfected practice. And so that when a year later, when I decided to do the podcast, I, of course, reached back to all those guests and asked, could you come on for one individual episode, like to have an hour of us just talking? Everyone agreed, thankfully. And then because of that radio show and Cognitive and just my own, I read a lot of books about faith struggles and that kind of thing. I just had people that I was either connected to on social media or we had mutual friends. But in that, I also think that, this goes back to my view of art, is that there is something divine about what I was doing. Not to say like what that's not an ego thing. That is a reliant. I am trusting that what I'm doing matters.
Right.
And in that, I think the universe was providing like my whole life has been leading up to this for this purpose. And so I just had people, and I've had people just ask me like, I think you should either talk to this person. I am someone who has this experience. Can I please come talk to you about my experience?
Right.
Absolutely. Now, granted, yes, I've tried to find people who have social media clout because I want to reach the more people. Like this is also part of my career.
Which is not, that has nothing to do with your ego. That's you are trying to be economical with your effort.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And I've just been really fucking fortunate with that. And I'm very aware of that. And I have a list of people that, I have still yet to interview who I've already communicated with, who have said like, oh my God, yes, not free till December, or, whenever you find time, whatever.
Right.
It's insane to me, but no, I shouldn't say it's insane. It makes perfect sense. What this says to me is that everyone is having this fucking dialogue on a daily basis in their heads. I grew up in a tradition, within Christianity and Southern Baptist, where your assuredness, so your certainty about your faith is what proves your faith. And And I think that's what turned me off to it so much, is because I, even in trying to live by that faith, had so much conflict about it. But I feel like
it's the opposite of the scientific method.
Yes,
basically.
yeah, exactly.
Like the more sure you are, the better that is.
Yeah, and they pride themselves on blind faith.
Yeah.
But to me, if there's a God, they would find greater benefit in me struggling to believe in them than to just blindly believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And to demean it down to like human level, like it's like it's like having a friend who laughs at all your jokes no matter what. It's like,
right.
Well, okay, that wasn't that funny though.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Well, and that
if God is the comedian and
so it makes you wonder if
humans are the friend that laughs at everything.
God or the divine has that line between fan and friend.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
okay, yeah.
Do you want someone who's just going to dote on you constantly?
Right.
Or do you want someone who's going to like go through the ringer with you and then still be on your side?
That's what we call bringing a train of thought into the station.
Right.
That's what that's called. Expertly done, Matt Hayes.
No, but that's, I mean,
no, for real. I hear you. No, I didn't have anything after that.
I didn't either.
No, it's fine. And this all of it can be edited out. We'll all sound
probably
fantastic.
got bullet points, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to look at these bullet. You got to bring it back to the bullet points. So, but here's the thing. So and I don't know if we get too personal, it's fine. But you say
there's no such thing as that for me. Have you seen my Instagram?
Yeah. Well, I've heard your podcast.
Yeah, right. That too.
I love how all the animals are just asleep in the room.
I know, including your wife.
I pointed to my wife when I said that. I was pointing to the cat behind her laying down, but he's a little farther.
Oh, Bobo.
Yeah, I get him.
Hi, Bobo.
But yeah, so like when did you start the podcast? Hasn't even been a year yet, has it?
No, God, no. It's only been, so I've been doing one a week.
I'm on
18. So
you're on 8, so it's like,
it's been 18 weeks.
That alone, man, and I'm not like blowing, I don't blow smoke up your ass.
I mean, there was that one time, but but that was the marijuana.
Listen,
We call it the human bong.
We saw a thing on TikTok. We wanted to try it.
Right.
I wasn't here, so I thought, let's be gay.
Let's be gay. Meredith's not here. Okay. Anyway,
let's experiment.
Fool me once, Matt. Shame on me. What was I gonna say? Shit. See, train of thought. No. Okay. So
I think you're about to blow smoke in my ass.
Yeah. No. You. It's impressive. Like from all that I know about. Well, I just was talking about like being, like addicted to starting projects. Mm-hmm. Seeing something like getting so hyper focused on something and like you have been to pump out all these really like, and it's not like filler. Nothing is filler on your podcast, right? It's all like getting right down to shit on your podcast. It really is. And you have 18 of them already. It seems like you just started doing this.
It feels that way.
Yeah. and this is what I'm getting back to my point of this is that takes something from you.
And not just time. I mean, like...
Not just time, but like you get drained, creative drain.
Well, and because of the context, it's also spiritually drained.
Yeah.
To be in your head that much about like hearing other people's life experiences and divine experiences while you're struggling with your own is like... I mean, it's... I don't sleep. I mean, I've been on Lexapro for 3 years. I just got prescribed Wellbutrin, even though I've not started taking it yet, because I'm just like, I don't want to add one more pill to this brain. You know what I mean? Like...
I know.
But I mean, I'm glad you recognize that, because I have some people in my life that have been like, why do you do this if there's no like money generated from it? And I'm like, because this is what is waking me up right now. Like,
right.
And as a creative, we have to have things that wake us up. Yep. We're not just 9-to-5ers. Like that's, I say that I wish I had that kind of mentality about life. Like I could just wake up, go to work, come home, do dinner, go to bed, watch TV, whatever. But I don't. But that it would not leave the legacy on this earth that I want to leave.
That's, dude. This is hitting on shit that I think about, especially lately.
Because you're a fucking creative,
and
living in a world of chaos.
Yeah.
Creatives right now are so goddamn triggered because there's so much to comment on.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, it's like I think about that. I think about all the time that I've wasted And I don't think I've wasted my time. I don't waste my time. You know what I mean?
I know you don't.
I did for years on like the first couple years on cruise ships. So like, because I'm a little boy from the woods in Canada, and it's like all of a sudden there's palm trees and a really great group of people to hang out with, and it's like, holy shit, this is great. And then you just kind of live your life for a while, but then after a while you go like, well, I don't know if I want to stay at this level of playing, like, so maybe I should start practicing more. And then I started like getting my shit together a little more. And it helps having people around you that are better than you at what you're trying to be good at, to really put you in that direction and put you on a schedule to like, I'm going to get better.
Can I comment on that word better real quick?
Yeah.
When I teach and people say, was that better? To me, better is the worst word that any creative can use.
Okay.
Because it just perpetuates that comparison poison. Try to reframe using the word better.
Okay.
And it's something like, because I understand what you mean about seeing people that seem to have experienced something you've not, or have gotten to somewhere where you have, where you're wanting to. But what if it's just them leading the way, showing you the way? That word better is just setting yourself up for failure. And I say that to myself too.
I'm thinking, I mean, like I can list specific things. Like I want to be able to hit this register on my tenor saxophone, right? With ease. I want to be able to play in this register kind of thing, or play with better tone. There's that word better again, but I don't necessarily have a problem with the word better, but I it's...
That's just me projecting on you then.
But here's the thing, you have to learn how to... The thing you do, especially as a musician, there's certain things that are musician specific, but like at a certain point, it's all kind of creative industries. Like you sing, so I mean, like you're a musician. You play piano, you're a musician, so you get it. But just for listeners, I guess, I don't think that comparing yourself to others is necessarily always a bad thing, as long as you do it in a healthy way.
Okay.
Which isn't like, he's better than me, so I'm a piece of shit. No, it just means that, like, he's better than you. Go learn from that guy.
Oh, that's so interesting. I love that.
And it's like, that's something
I'm not that healthy.
Well, and I've gone through 2 jazz degrees now, and I've met a lot of people, and like jazz camps and all this. I've seen a lot of musicians. I've had a lot of mentors, for musician mentors, and the ones that I've respected the most are always modest, are always hyper talented, and they just know they're very aware of themselves, right? And I don't think that. I think at least the people that I learned from, they really sort of fostered a healthy kind of view of like, like I picture, so like one of the teachers at my bachelor's, we played some tune and then ended the tune, and he goes, well, that wasn't very good, was it? But like, I mean, I see the look on your face. It's like he's, clutch your pearls. But it's just like he's taking the. He's taking.
Is that a gay joke?
He's taking.
He's definitely got my joke. That's for sure. It's definitely a gay joke though.
It's a Southern. Come on, I hang out with.
That's more of a gay thing.
No, but anyway, so like that. I can sound like, especially to her, I can sound to really any like kind of theater types, I suppose. It's like. I know I can sound pretty dark, and I probably sound darker than most people about like my own abilities and all that stuff. But I know my own abilities very well, and I kind of like make fun of myself a lot. So when I say the things that are like that sound super dark, it usually doesn't. It's not me being. I'm fine on the inside. You know what I mean?
I'm fine.
But it's the shit where it's like you can like if you know me, you can tell when I'm like I hate myself, I hate my playing, I hate blah blah blah. She's seen the worst of me. But anyway, what were we getting at? So
burnout.
So we're talking about better and burnout and yeah. What were we? Hang on. So producing that many episodes so quickly, like being creative and not only just the subject matter of talking about your faith, as a gay man from the South, like just in general, like creating a post, creating anything that's creative, literally just like writing a fucking email that like strings thoughts together in a coherent way. Takes creativity, and it takes something out of you that if you are constantly doing that and have perhaps too many projects started like I do right now, well, mostly of my own. It's not like I'm like missing any due dates or anything, but when you have all of that going all the time, you just like you get to a point, and this is where I am. I've gotten to a point where if I don't have like a day a week to just like not to maybe work, maybe not. Like it's not even a day off, right? I haven't had a day off in quite a long time.
There's no such thing as
a day off. But it's like at least like time to work on a project that I like better than this other thing that's paying me or something like that, you know? If I don't have that, then I get like I hate everything. I just get depressed. I'm burnt out, right? So I mean, like you were talking about on the way, like when we were talking, anticipating your arrival here in Vegas. We were talking about you're like you seemed like you were in a very bad place.
Yeah. Because I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, from that, right? Like, is that accurate though? Like, do you think that's why?
I mean, I don't want to say I'm in a bad place because that can make people worry, and there's nothing to worry about. I mean, like there's things in my life that are worrisome. Like, do I drink too much? Yes. Do I partake in too much cannabis? Yes. Do I make poor choices when it comes to men? Yes.
But you're LA sober, right? Is that what the term is?
I'm not any
LA
sober. I'm not any sober. No.
Sorry.
No, but during COVID, I was thriving. I was so happy to be able to not focus on shit that doesn't matter, on fluff. And it was just stuff that meant something to the world. You know, we had
examples.
Well, you know, George Floyd. Like that was something I was passionate about speaking on and advocating for, and it made me feel fulfilled to like know that I was speaking in defense of people that were not being appreciated or advocated for or heard. And I said that I was only one, but I'm just saying like there were so many things happening last year that allowed me to feel like I was doing my part for the world, for humanity. And now that we're quote unquote back to normal, I'm so fucking depressed because none of it matters. Like my work, my day job as a property manager, and I fucking hate it. And I want to burn every building down.
Please don't do that.
The emails and stuff you talked about.
I mean, the people, it's one of the most thankless jobs. Like people talk about how dentists are the most suicidal career people in the world. No, it's property managers.
Yeah, why is that?
You wake up every goddamn day to people blaming you for their life.
Yeah.
Every fucking day is people yelling at you about their water not being hot enough, or there being a fruit fly on their fucking indoor plants.
Wow.
Or where I live, because of human feces all over your property because you live in the middle of Hollywood, California. So like it's
Jesus, man,
and that's I'll make it really spiral here. No, but now that we're back to normal, like none of it matters. And so now I'm in a place where I'm like, I'm just gonna pull the plug. I'm gonna buy an RV. Me and my dog are just gonna go live on the road and just live life and experience it, because nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like in a bad place right now, because I'm doing all these things, and it just speaks to the toxicity of the American dream. We work hard, we don't live well. And I'm trying to decide like what can I do to sustain myself, but that will allow me to sustain my soul. Yeah. Because at this point, my soul's not. That's why I'm putting so much into the podcast, because it's the only thing that's sustaining my soul right now.
Yeah.
So I just think that artists have to be really careful, because part of our art, our artistic endeavors, is the hustle.
Yeah.
And it's so praised and it's so celebrated to be working nonstop, to not have off days.
Yeah.
But the life of an artist is to comment on life. But if we're not living life, what are we actually commenting on then?
Yeah, you're just commenting on working.
Right. Yeah. And that's boring. I mean, some of y'all like The Office. I didn't. But, No, I mean, I say that. I say that jokingly.
I mean,
but you know what I mean?
banality is art, you know.
But I just think, what do I have to say? I'm not going to know what to say without pulling back from this toxic pursuit of success.
Right.
And not to like blame it on our parents' generation, but they were able to work one full-time job and have a grand life.
And support themselves
Yeah.
as well as
And have
when they-
kids.
Yeah, like you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. You get
And
a yard.
No.
You have a patch of grass.
And like what? I mean, and I watch my parents, and their off days are just relaxing,
Yeah.
and peaceful. And our off days are me waking up thinking like, okay, what can I do to fill this day with things that make me feel productive, to where I don't feel like I wasted my off day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Yeah.
stressed about that.
Yeah.
Then I don't sleep that night because I feel guilty about being too lazy,
Yeah.
about watching too much TV that day on a day where I needed,
Yeah.
or it's just.
You do you ever let yourself just do zero? Like I'm talking like
Let myself,
maybe pull yourself
or do
a bowl of cereal or something. Pour yourself a bowl of cereal.
I do those things, but even in doing those things, I'm not letting myself give into it.
Well, so here's the thing: is that what I found with procrastination, of which I'm very good at.
Me too.
Your whiteboard suggests otherwise.
Thank you. Is that when you reach a point of burnout, which I think you have
Present.
here, it's when you reach that point, it's not a matter of like just finding the energy. It's like there's nothing to find. You don't have anything left inside you.
Do I hear that noise?
It's the really loud pouring today. I've never poured
People have
louder.
always said that I have a heavy pour.
Have a deep pour. But no, like, what was I saying? See how quickly I just squashed a train of thought? It's just completely gone. My mind is just deteriorating. We're all rotting from the inside, Matt. We're all going to fall into the sun.
But we've spoken about this too. There's this idea of evolution is not caught up with how much we are absorbing information-wise right now.
Yeah. Stim.
Constant simulation. I mean, social media is toxic for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But the greatest to me is that our brains have not developed to a point of being able to absorb that much fucking information.
Well, and then you have not only that much information, like that's giving it too much credit. That's giving it like, I think of, hey, too much information being all the information.
Like knowledge.
But really,
and,
you're getting like a stream of specific information based on an algorithm of what to keep you watching, and that's created whole classes of people that think one way or another way. We have people on planet Earth that believe it's flat and build rockets not really far from here either. I think in the Arizona desert, he built a rocket to try to didn't know what his plan was once he got up there, but you know what I mean? So it's like,
and these are the same people that are like being, like with the vaccine stuff. Like the government ain't gonna tell me what to do. Not to
like
put that in a, but you're like, oh, do you have Netflix? Because they already are. Like they're already telling you what to watch, bro.
Have you ever been on a website before?
Right. Do you have an iPhone?
Yes, they have your address.
While they're like wearing an Apple Watch, while they're already injected with 18 of their fucking vaccinations from going to school as a public school kid, and
if someone has health issues that can't have a vaccine, that's a different thing.
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
But when it's like you hear people talking about like I'm waiting until it's FDA approved.
Guess what, bitch? It already
Why?
is.
Why do you trust that government agency and not that other one? What the fuck? Like that's not what it's about, is it?
Yep.
It's not. You just like everyone else believes this. Yeah. All of your friends believe this one thing,
Also,
and you don't want to not be
Chipotle.
friends with them.
Like you don't have more intelligence than someone who's a doctor working at the.
That's my other thing is, why don't you believe in scientists? Like, I don't understand
Well, yes, and so my parents and I have had some really honest conversations about this because my mom's a nurse, and like I'm so thankful to be one of the few Southerners I know, and you are another one whose parents are intelligent enough to to know and appreciate science. But even and my parents are very like, I mean, I don't know if they're supportive of my agnostic conflict, but they at least humor it. But I was telling my mom, I was like, my biggest confusion is that these people who blindly believe in a singular creator that created them, that they cannot appreciate when someone who I would assume God provided the brain cells to become a scientist, they can't. To me, there's a form of worship in science. Like to me, science and religion is not mutually exclusive. They almost go hand in hand for me. Like too. Science, if anything, almost makes me want to be a believer because there's a beauty in that. Then I'm like, well, it has to come from somewhere. Yeah. Like that's kind of fucking cool. I can worship someone. I feel like my appreciation of the divine is actually through science, through psyche, and through understanding how we work.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's just. Ugh.
And you can't want to believe that well, and not to get all weird too, I think it's also funny that they want a cure and they wanted to get this over with, and then it came too fast. So it's like, what do you want? You want a cure or not? You're ready to get this over with. So now it came, and now.
But it's not. That's not what it's about, though, right?
No, I'm not saying it's all about that.
But that's just what they're saying.
I'm like, well, wouldn't you also like? If you do believe in God, wouldn't you think that this is what God is sending to?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you're
not going to be able to eradicate it. We've learned that too, but to at least help us get better. And
this is God's answer to your prayers.
This is the answer. So you got your answer to the prayer.
Right.
Everybody's like, I'll trust my immune system. Well, all I can say is if you trust your immune system, maybe don't go to the hospital.
And also,
you get sick because your immune system may or may not fight that off. You might be lucky, but you might be the one that doesn't.
And also, mind you, these medical freedom fighters are the same ones who are anti-women's rights when it comes to birth control, to abortion, to fertility choice. And also, these same people are the ones that are also blaming AIDS on the sin of the gay men in the 80s.
Yeah. Is that still happening, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I have to say that because I don't.
Yeah. You don't know.
That's just insane to me.
Very real thing. Well, still
for everyone kind of listening, just like Matt's movie Cognitive, it's on Hulu, right? Is it on Hulu?
I wish, but Hulu, if you're listening, call me.
I believe it's on NBC at 8 on Thursdays.
No, it's on Amazon through a third-party app.
Okay.
Or it's streaming. Just on Amazon Prime, you can find it. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of
short
different
film.
media. Yeah.
Short film.
Award-winning.
Award-winning. Thank you. Laurels.
#
Laurels.
About you being the sound and musician on that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do sound on that, but I did.
I think the official title is Key Plunker.
Key Plunker, got it. So when you were a Key Plunker.
You remember when we were recording the soundtrack for that, and we were trying to figure out if you could sound like an old black woman?
God, yes.
Because you're like, I'm wondering, like my vocal range is kind of like a little bit higher than an average like male voice. I don't know what it was, but you were like,
it was me sitting in your closet for hours trying to do this and getting so mad.
Walk in the closet. Me hitting space bar outside with the cable running under the door, and then us going, yeah, you're not an elderly black woman. Let's just do something else.
But I just realized, speaking of closets, because today's National Coming Out Day.
How many days can be on one day?
Let's talk about this conflict. So the gays are trying to claim this day.
Okay.
The Native Americans are trying to claim this day, and Canadians are trying to claim this day. So whose day really is it?
Okay, first of all,
why is it
pretty sure Canadians got there first. Well, sorry.
Native Americans got there first.
Native Americans definitely got there first, and then Canadian Thanksgiving,
and then Columbus,
and then gays were invented in 1871.
Have you read the Bible, bro? Because there's a couple in there that Christians don't want to talk about.
Right.
Definitely a couple in there.
Right. Yeah.
We kept a lid on it for as long as we could, and then
same. But there are 4 holidays today. That's a lot.
That's a lot of holidays.
Spread these out.
Probably more than that. Really, we're only counting 2 countries.
Well, and it's probably also like National Dog Day because that's every other Wednesday apparently. I feel like I see it all the time on social media. Like, how did we circle back another year to National Cat Day, National Sibling Day?
It's not like we're not all watching cat videos all the time anyway.
That's y'all.
Yeah.
Me and Porter don't like cats.
Pointing fingers over here. Fingers. Okay, so going back to what you were talking about, like, thinking of faith in a scientific way, and like how going through, like listening to. So this is whatever. I am not super like well read in any kind of scientific field at all, but I really like the Neil deGrasse Tyson reboot of the Cosmos series that Carl Sagan did in the 70s.
Is that the boxer?
It's the.
I'm kidding.
I hate you. But
Mom, is that you?
Not because you're gay, but because you're white. No.
Hollywood, is that you?
Jesus Christ. Edit
None
everything
of
out.
this can be aired.
Edit everything
None of
out
this can be
forever.
aired.
Edit everything out forever. No, but so I really like that series, and the stuff they talk about. You know, I'm not a. It's easy to comprehend for some people, but I'm just a musician. But all the stuff that what I'm left with after watching that stuff, and I've talked about this with Meredith's mom, is that you know, that's the closest I've come to believing a God is, or not, you know, whatever. You don't have to call it God, but like some kind of force that's like moving us in a direction, is learning about how like fucking galaxies are formed, and how things go from clouds of dust into little specks of rock into orbiting something that, and then just by fucking chance we have an environment where this interesting force called life can explode and do this stuff, and then invent the fucking internet. So how do we, you know what I mean? Like,
America
so like,
Online.
and you look at Canada Online. We didn't get online until like 20 years later. So stupid. Edit it out.
Y'all still have dial-up up there, don't you?
Fuck you Yankee prick.
Yankee. Did you hear what he
Oh
called?
yeah,
Y'all-
yeah.
y'all
That's
hear
the
what
other
he
thing.
called me?
We call you guys Yankees from
we're
in
Yankees.
Canada.
Even us down in Alabama?
Oh,
Even the
you're all
South,
Yankees.
We're all Yankees.
Well,
Everybody's
hey,
Yankees.
go to
That's
England.
fascinating.
Go to England. Go back in time. Go to 1939. Go to England, and if you're from the South, it doesn't matter. You're American. You're a Yankee. So, just saying. Anyway.
And when we back home, where me and Meredith are from, Alabama, if you call someone a Yankee, it's not a good thing.
No, it's definitely an insult.
And where I'm from in Decatur, there's actually still a dividing line between North Decatur and South Decatur. That
Demilitarized zone?
during Reconstruction,
That's how you know how
when
country
the
is.
when the
That's how
North
you know country.
when the Northerners were moving down to the South to kind of like monitor things in the former Confederacy, a lot of the small towns were still divided because people didn't want to, integrate, not racially, but
North South.
north
like
to south,
regionally, yeah.
And so in Decatur, my hometown, the streets in the north part of Decatur are all named after U.S. U.S. Army names, and in the south part of Decatur, they're all named for Confederate names to this day.
Wow.
And even now, like if someone, there still is an awareness of if someone lives on the north side of town, there's a northern lineage, and they're probably Catholic because that's all Yankees are Catholics.
That's true.
They're closer to Ireland.
We can make fun of it, but like it's such an interesting study of humanity. Like the South is so riddled with history.
It's all just. Here's the thing: is that humanity is just a bunch of apes evolving in little spheres.
Apes with opinions.
Apes with opinions. Fucking monkeys with shoes.
Yeah, and now internet, which.
Well, but then that now are spheres that used to be physical villages in different lands, in counties or whatever, is now a pocket of, if you believe one certain type of thing, that you can find a group that supports you on the internet somewhere.
And it's not a bad thing, because we do want to feel communal. We want to feel part of something, a group.
Well,
that
some of us
advocates
want
for
to
us.
believe that the Earth is a fucking triangle, because we've
Wouldn't that be
invested too
cool?
much time into it, to where if it's not true, then we've wasted fucking months of our lives. And I wouldn't want that to be true. Can't have that. Must be the other thing. I'm just going to convince myself,
Yeah.
At a certain point, we're just trying to be selfish and convince ourselves that we're not fucking morons. If you just
That's what I say
realize
about
you're a
evangelism.
moron.
When people try to convince you that their religion is right, it's just them trying to prove to themselves that their way of thinking is the right one.
It's crazy. It's crazy. humans are just fucked in the head.
Yep. That's why I just can't do it anymore. Like,
well, it's hard.
I want to believe so bad in the second coming of Christ, just to like get this shit over with. Like, please come back and just wipe us
out. If he's coming, man, just let's go. Let's bring it on, man.
Like, when I hear about people living to like 96 and 100, and I'm like, if I have to live that fucking long, I will kill myself. That's depressed. I at 36, I'm
that's the quote of the day. If I have to live that long, I'll fucking kill myself. That's contradictory, my friend.
Now that's why I'm gonna either go live on an island or work at Jack Shack on Grand Turk, or I'm gonna move to the desert and just live on a compound. One time I was drunk and I did look up Jack Shack online to see if they were hiring.
Okay.
I couldn't find them.
All right.
But it's Canadians that own it. You know that?
Jack Shack?
Yeah, they're Canadians. They're Canucks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know, because they're nice.
They moved somewhere warm.
That makes sense.
I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
I was talking about that with Erica in episode 1 of this podcast. It's like you get drip fed this. When you're a kid, it's snow. It's fun. Snow equals you get to go have fun in the snow, or you get to choose to ignore it. Whereas when you're an adult, you slowly start to have to shovel your driveway, or scrape the car off, or scrape your neighbor's car off. Anyway, so I moved to the surface of the sun instead. What was I saying? So let's just so we can put a little bit of a not a positive spin, because I don't give a shit. Spins. I think don't get all serious on me. I think that it's we're just having a real conversation. I would never like try to force anything, but like when we were talking about like giving yourself a day to just fucking be a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Don't work out, don't go do anything, just be an invertebrate and watch Netflix, whatever. Allowing yourself to do that, I call it building up some guilt, some creative guilt. But what I think it is just kind of just cleaning out your creative vat. Yeah. It's just like letting yourself just be. It's a little bit like mindfulness. It's like letting your. It's not so much letting your intentionally thinking about nothing at all. It's more about just letting yourself think about anything at all. And I think having a good full day of that, and maybe half a day, whatever, a couple hours here and there. But I think just having that will help you not be so fucking burnt out when you're trying to do all this stuff. That's just my thoughts on that. I don't know if you agree or not, but
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, we've kind of covered a lot.
And the night's but a fetus.
Wow.
Wow. We at this point, we still could get an abortion in Texas. That's how young this night is.
Honey, pack your bags. We're going to Texas.
Okay.
Gonna get that abortion.
Wait, is this an announcement?
No.
Oh my god, my heart stopped.
That would be the most tasteless fucking thing in the world.
My heart
if my wife was actually pregnant with my child and I made an abortion joke about it.
Well, and also because your wife's drinking wine, and I was like, well, she's from Alabama.
What? I don't know. I don't know how to end
what's your next bullet point?
No bullet points. That's it. We've gotten a lot of stuff. I'm
no,
pretty.
But I think the reason we wanted to do this is because we wanted to advocate and normalize burnout, because all creatives are constantly hustling, constantly pursuing, and it is draining if you're not fueling yourself and your soul. So,
and then the question becomes, well, how do you do that? Right. For me, I like to think half the time I think it's like going to play a video game that I really like, but that's probably more than half just being addicted to a video game, right? Because I've found myself playing video games where it's like I'm not enjoying myself, and because the next day
because you're losing.
No, because the video games that I play, there's no real win or lose. It's more
you should have seen me on an Oculus
stuff. Can we talk about that? It's sitting over there.
The
new
broken one?
Shivering in fear.
So last time I was here,
Yeah. This bumpkin.
this
fucking,
bumpkin, this country bumpkin.
Like Mr. Hollywood over here, all of a sudden you put a
What is this
VR headset on
nonsense happening in my
him. He
eyes?
put the headset on and he goes, "Oh my god, I can feel wind on my body."
Because I thought
Matt?
I thought it was one of those like Disney World 4D experiences, like the Orange Orchard.
But like, how would that happen? I just gave you like a plastic headset. We were like, Matt, that's the
Look.
That's the
I once
ceiling
believed
fan.
in a man that rose from the dead 3 days later. I'll believe in anything you throw at me. So then,
Matt,
as I'm feeling the wind on this Oculus.
Well, it was something about like something came.
Oh no!
At
It
you
was
from
that
above,
tetherball
right?
thing.
Yeah,
it was a training. It wasn't even a game. It was a fucking training course.
It was the first 5 minutes of putting on a brand new Oculus headset. Is this activity that you do? And it's something.
And that ball came rushing to my head, and I tried to knock it away. And in doing so, I knocked the Oculus off my face, and it broke on the floor.
That could have happened to anyone, and I will say that to you now.
But did
will
it?
Make you feel better.
Did it?
To anyone? No, it happened to you.
Right.
But yeah, it was really funny.
Oh,
For the record, so everyone knows, Matt immediately ordered me a new one. Like, I've never seen anyone order someone online so fast. Something online.
It's like, it'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
That was a Fletcher Pearls one. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like trying to make you feel better about it in the moment, and I was like, oh, that's definitely broken. Shit.
You were so nice about it.
Well, yeah, we have no reason.
I was like, is it broken? You're like,
It's because I was like, hey man, look at this cool toy I got, and then put it on, just break it.
It's not just on purpose.
so
Of
never.
course it wasn't on purpose. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Nobody
I
should
love
ever.
that thing.
Nobody should ever give me nice things. Man.
I just gotta give you nothing that's gonna like introduce you to a whole new reality,
A whole new world, right?
A whole new reality, and then throw a ball at your head.
That would
Anyway, we're wrapping up here, but so look for the Fagnostic Podcast wherever you find your podcasts.
And it's not just for gays dealing with trauma and religion. It's
I
really
listen
is
to
like
it. Look for the Fagnostic Podcast.
look for the Fagnostic Podcast, yes. And if you like what really
you find
matters with
podcasts?
podcasts too is reviews, shares, and
That's what I was
and
gonna say.
ratings. And that's
Okay.
it's hard. There's something that's insecure about asking people to please go talk about my product.
Yeah.
But it really does matter. And so if you have a friend who's doing a podcast, don't like go and lie, but like help a brother out. It really does matter. And just to be completely honest, when we first launched, our highest ranking, we chart pretty high in the U.S. in religion, but we topped at 13 in the U.S., which for a new podcast is fucking huge.
My man.
And it's an anti-religion podcast, which is ironic that it's charting in religion in the U.S. with Apple Podcasts. And we've kind of hit a slump in terms of just like we've leveled out at we're still in double digits mostly, but there's a plateau right now. I guess what's the opposite of a plateau? Because it does like this shape instead. And it's really like made me like not want to pursue it as hard, but there's every episode people, even if it's one, will reach out and say, oh my gosh, like Topher is an example. Our good friend Topher was just like, people don't talk about our trauma. And it's, again, this is not just for gay people. Religion is the most abusive thing you can put on a kid. The most abusive thing, because it automatically forces a belief system onto someone whose mind is not fully developed. And that's fucked up. That is so fucking rude. And so, if you're not gay, like, and also I'm really funny, so like, there's some good like zingers in there, so I think you can at least laugh at me. But there's also some like notable characters, like there's some, there's authors and like drag queens and I interview people from all walks of life and belief systems and non-belief systems. I have Muslims, I have Jews, I have Christians, I have atheists. I try to find as many people who has something relevant to offer our trauma as possible.
You have the same thing in your life. You have a little bit of everything in your life too. Like
people don't call me 31 Flavors for nothing.
you hide behind your pseudo egotistical narcissism, but
it's not so pseudo. Let's be honest.
And I will say that when my phone rings and it's you, it says Narcissist the musical on it.
I remember we talked about that.
What was it? What musical was it that we were talking?
It initially came about.
It was everything. You just add the musical.
No, but there was
there.
one time that you said something. I was like, the musical.
Yep.
And
That's
you're like,
how it all started.
What was it?
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember, but I know exactly. I'm thinking about this because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Gosh, I forgot about that. The musical.
That was the first time you had visited us here. It was the first time we'd actually been in our apartment. The old.
Oh my gosh.
Matt, you're one of my favorite people in the world.
It's very mutual. Y'all are two of my. Y'all are family. You're truly family
absolutely
to me.
Family. Absolutely
and
family.
I was saying that to somebody today. I was like, my family's visiting.
It's when cruise ships were some of the happiest times in my life, and not just because of the experience of like waking up in a different country every fucking day or on a different island every day. That's great, but it's because the people that you got to do it with.
Amen.
Yes. Well, that's anywhere.
Yeah.
The location doesn't fucking matter.
It helps.
Workplace doesn't matter. It's the people that you work with, the people that are in that you interact with every day. That makes the place, that makes the experience.
Yeah, but it does help.
But my best friends in this world came from at sea.
Sure.
I mean, and you are two of them.
Like
and
they're
I'm
all
so
mermaids?
thankful.
Is that what you mean? They're all mermaids?
Yes.
Nice. That's the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You said it.
They are the best people. I have to agree.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on my podcast. Go
Anytime.
check out the Fagnostic Podcast. Go check out the Cognitive Movie. Maybe on Hulu one day. Maybe on...
But for now, it's just on Amazon.
Just on Amazon.
You can find me at my website, matthayes.com, MATHAYES.com.
One T.
Or on the Millennial Social... Yeah, one T, MATHAYES. Or the Millennial Socials, not that Gen Z bullshit, just the Millennials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Hayes on it, HAYES on it.
Beautiful. See you next time. See you next time. Ha! Take that, Gen Z. All right, that was Matt's episode. Make sure you check out the Fagnostic Podcast. That's the last time I have to say that word. Thank you, Matt. Also, check out matthayes.com to see his other work, like his film Cognitive, his work as an actor and producer. And connect to him on the Millennial Socials, as he said, at Hayes on it. All this stuff is in the show notes, so, check that stuff out. Okay, well, maybe if I just wait here long enough, episode 5 will come to me.